Hey guys, this is Sky Elabar, Big Braden from the Greasy Strangler, and you're listening to the Horror Squad podcast. You're a bullshit artist.
Hello, welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 273. Tonight we're talking about a Korean film, Gonjiam, Haunted Asylum, which is currently streaming over on Shudder for the US. Steve, is the same for you as well?
Yeah, Shudder and Tubi here. So
okay, cool. This is honor one of our friends and fans, the late Michelle. So honor her. I'm one of your co-hosts, Todd. This is Steve, and this is Joe as well. All three of us together. How's everyone doing tonight for today?
Hi, everyone. Doing well. You know, once again, another somber show, with this one being dedicated to Michelle, but excited to talk the last movie she recommended to us, and can't wait to hear everyone's thoughts on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be doing it, you know, in Michelle's honor. She was a great person. And, you know, I'd never seen this one. So I thought, cool, you know, it's something I think none of us had seen. And why not, right? It's a good opportunity. And I didn't know this, but I looked into it. It's actually like the third biggest film ever out of Korea for horror, I think. And I was like, I never even heard of it. So thank you, Michelle, for the recommendation and for being so cool.
Yeah. And thank you, Steve, for telling me that, because I got to change a trivia question now. Since you really searched that, you know the other two as well. So I'm like, dang it.
All right. You guys want to get into some news?
Horror news. We need a you know, any listeners, I know you guys are all clever. I want a theme song for horror news, so I would love some creativity. So we could do like Joe's horror news corner or something, you know, whatever. I want it, you know, let's hear it. I know someone got something up their sleeves out there, and I'm sure we could do something pretty fun. All right, so let's get into horror news for this week. Number one being just announced today, American Horror Story Season 12. I know Steve loves it. I know Todd loves it. I finally jumped off the train recently after a couple of bad seasons. Well, they were all been pretty bad. But I have news today that I know for a fact will bring Steve and Todd back in to the American Horror Story realm. Are you guys ready for this big news I have for you?
What if I was never in it to begin with, though?
Well, this will bring you into it.
Okay.
Because American Horror Story Season 12 has been announced today and set to star Emma Roberts, which you're probably like, whatever, she's in every season. But the big news is starring this season none other than Kim Kardashian. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Kim Kardashian will be starring.
I thought you had like a legit, like, I don't even know. Jeez.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Kim Kardashian will be starring in season 12 of American Horror Story, which will be premiering this summer, actually, which is very different than past. It's always been released in the fall, around late September, early October, but we will be getting it earlier on this year in the summer. Now, right now, pretty tight-lipped as far as plot synopses, but the teaser of this had a creepy rendition of Rockabye Baby, the nursery song. So all of the sort of online sleuths have been thinking this might be a motherhood season, a season revolving around motherhood, maybe a Rosemary's Baby type theme. We shall see. But the showrunners, here was their little announcement. Kim Kardashian is among the biggest and brightest television stars in the world, and we are thrilled to welcome her to the American Horror Story family. That comes from co-creator Ryan Murphy.
Fuck Ryan Murphy. What else has he done? He co-created the whole thing?
Yeah, he did Dahmer. He did the Dahmer show, which was really successful most recently. So this season is going to be titled Delicate and is based, at least in part, on an upcoming novel titled Delicate Condition by the author Danielle Valentine. So you might get some information on what is that. The novel is described as a gripping thriller about a woman who becomes convinced that a sinister figure is going to great lengths to make sure her pregnancy never happens. So there you go. I know Stephen Todd will be very excited for that.
Serious question though. Is there anything at this point that would actually make you watch American Horror Story again?
Yeah, Kim Kardashian
yeah,
for Joe.
probably. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Does she play herself though? That's what I really want to know.
I don't think so. It doesn't sound like it. I think she'll be. I mean, does she have like acting chops? I
Yeah,
mean, I've seen her adult movie.
Her movie with Ray J.
Yes. But has she done TV movie? I mean, besides the reality show, obviously, like to call her like one of the brightest like actresses in Hollywood. I mean, that's a bold statement.
I bet those guys had a gun to their head when they had to write that. Fucking say it. You'll never work in this town again. Yes, sir.
It will bring in the viewers, though. I mean, right? 100%. I mean, she
really
love her or hate her. They have a fucking empire, so people will watch just for her. So we'll see. Is there anything that would bring me back to watch it though? Yeah, I think like a really interesting casting choice. Like I was really interested when Macaulay Culkin got cast a couple seasons ago, and I watched it a couple seasons ago for him, and he was an interesting enough character. I'm trying to think like who could you bring in? Maybe like Mia Goth, someone like that. You know, she's pretty hot right now. Todd's like completely flipped on Mia Goth. He like absolutely hates her now.
I'm done, man.
You're over
her performance in Pearl, and then just to top it off with Infinity Pool, which is a great movie, but her couple scenes, she was so bad.
I can't think of anyone, honestly, that I'm like, I absolutely have to watch this because this person is in it. Even like actors I really like, you know, like Jenna Ortega right now is really hot. That probably wouldn't bring me in. Samara Weaving, I love. That wouldn't bring me in. Just, you know, okay, I'll make one exception. If they bring in Arnold Schwarzenegger, American Horror Story, I will watch it. So there you go. That is the one person that I think I would watch it for.
What about Austrian Horror Story? Let's make it happen.
Love it. What about like Stone Cold Steve Austin or somebody like?
Have you seen his movies? Like Tubi is full of his movies, and they never watch them, so probably not.
All right. Well, we'll keep it today.
I know movie.
Sam still like really likes the American Horror Story series, so I think we'll end up watching this season probably. So I'll let you guys know how Kimmy K does in her season 12. All right, next bit of news here. A little update on Welcome to Derry, the HBO Max series that is going to be coming, a prequel, of course, to the It saga. Some somewhat surprising and disappointing news, as it has been announced that as of right now, Bill Skarsgård will not be coming back to reprise the role of Pennywise. In a recent interview, he said, we'll see what they come up with and what they do with it, but I'm not currently involved. He went on to explain, if someone else gets to play Pennywise, my advice is to make it your own. Have fun with it. What I thought was so pleasurable about that character was how incredibly abstract he was. The book is really a gift that way. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. So he's not completely closing the door on him playing Pennywise, but it seems like more likely than not, he won't be coming back. Do you think that affects the show in a big way, or are you interested to see who is going to fill those big clown shoes?
I think it's going to affect the show because if he's not involved, you're probably losing a good portion of your audience that really liked the It remake films. But at the same time, if we got over Tim Curry not playing Pennywise, I would be interested to see a third interpretation of Pennywise in the same way that I'm always interested in seeing a new interpretation of the Joker, right? It doesn't mean that it's a new person playing the Joker that I'm not going to like it, because obviously like Heath Ledger was late in the game and I fucking adored his interpretation of the Joker, and not so much with others, you know, Jared Leto and shit like that. But
you did like Jared Leto a lot, though.
Oh yeah,
you do have a matching chest tattoo,
right? On my head. That's why I always wear a hat, because of my damaged tattoo. Yeah, so I am curious enough to see who plays him and how he plays him, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mirror that, and you know, you got to think of the new generation of It fans. Like they all love that guy, and if you want to keep that crowd entertained, you got to bring back their Pennywise. You know what I mean? The only ones that are outraged, let's be honest, about the recasting at the time were us, like the older dudes. So yeah, I don't know. It sucks because he's a really good Pennywise, but hopefully he's just saying that to get the spark going with the production company.
Yeah, I would be shocked because, like, the Andy Muschietti and his wife are producing it once again and stuff, and they have such a good relationship with them. So I'd be rather shocked for him not to come back. But I also think money could be a huge issue with this. I'm sure he wants a lot of money to reprise that role. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Who do you guys have like a dream casting choice? Like someone like you think could really pull it off? I always thought Will Poulter, like he would have been like pretty interesting. He kind of has like a weird face already, and like he kind of already like he was cast. So like he already has that like experience, kind of was preparing for it and stuff. He's a little older now and stuff. So, maybe he could surprise us. I don't know, anyone in particular? Or...
I think it's one of those things that it could be an unknown really and still be really good. It's
Sure.
Maybe it'd even be better if it was an unknown at this point. I mean, Bill Skarsgård, I didn't know him really before he played Pennywise, and he killed it. So I think at this point, bring someone new who can bring something fresh to it, and it'll be awesome.
Alrighty. Well, speaking of Mia Goth, Todd's new favorite actress of all time, Maxine is going to be coming out. Ty West is going to be completing his trilogy. Of course, this one is going to be set immediately following the events of X, or there might be a little bit of a time jump. I'm not 100% sure. This one is going to take place in the 80s. X took place in the 1970s, so this will be a little bit after the fact. So here we go. Maxine reverses the franchise's trajectory through time to pick up with Maxine after the violent events of X as the sole survivor continues her journey towards fame, setting out to make it as an actress in 1980s Los Angeles. The reason I bring this up is some casting news has come up recently. Of course, Mia Goth reprising her role of Maxine. Also, some interesting casting choices here, as Michelle Monaghan will be starring, as well as Halsey, of course, the famous singer. Giancarlo Esposito, who most people probably know from The Mandalorian, and of course, I know him best from Breaking Bad. And the most probably interesting casting choice of this bunch is Kevin Bacon. So yeah, Kevin Bacon returning to horror here. I mean, what do you guys think? Any names kind of stick out to you as a surprise or excitement?
I'm gonna wager that Kevin Bacon is gonna play a sleazy producer or director, which I'm into.
Or cop. I think he's a cop.
Cop, you think? Okay. Yeah. But keep it sleazy. Let's keep it sleazy. Let's keep it fucking weird lighting, and let's just have fun with it.
Yeah, I hope it's like a love letter to the 80s, kind of like the last one was a love letter to the X was a love letter to the 70s, I'm not like super surprised at the cast because X and Pearl did relatively well. So they probably have the name recognition now to get a bigger cast. And they're all, as far as I know, like good actors, so I'm psyched. I'm looking forward to this one, especially that I didn't love the Pearl character, kind of like Todd, but I did like the Maxine character. So looking forward to this one.
All right, awesome. And we'll keep you guys updated. I'm sure we will definitely be reviewing that one as we reviewed X and Pearl. So we have to finish the trilogy for sure. And we'll see when it releases. I don't know if it's coming this year or next year. We'll see. I'm assuming early next year because I don't think they've started filming yet. All right, a little update on Thanksgiving. Eli Roth's very highly anticipated finally coming out. He made the faux trailer, of course, in the Grindhouse movies, and we are finally getting that movie on November 17th, 2023. So it is coming this year, right before Thanksgiving. Great choice. Obviously, we don't have choice. Right. This one definitely has the potential to be great. As far as some casting, Patrick Dempsey was most recently cast to be in this one, as well as Addison Rae, who will be starring. So yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for it. Eli Roth, hit or miss, but I think this one is going to be a hit. I don't know how it can't be. I mean, it's just like going to be a super goofy, fun slasher, set. I'm hoping they're going to film around here, like I said, because it's supposed to take place in Plymouth, Massachusetts. So we'll see, and we'll keep you up to date.
I think Eli's more hit than miss, personally. Hostel's good. Hostel 2 is good. Cabin Fever's great. I don't like Green Inferno. I think that's one of my least
Green
favorite.
Inferno bad. Knock Knock I think is underrated. I
Knock
really
Knock
like
is
Knock
good.
Knock.
Knock
Yeah.
Knock is good. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think, am I missing something from directing?
You definitely are, because there has been a
so?
couple of stinkers. I can't remember right off.
Oh, House with the
top
Clock
either,
on its
but-
Walls is a fine kids movie.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
He did that?
I
Okay.
think he directed it. I know his wife was in it at the time.
He did produce a lot though, and that
He produced a lot of shit. That's what it is. Yeah.
yeah, that probably soured his name more than anything. I mean, fuck,
Right.
So yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
was directed by Eli Roth.
What was the last movie he directed?
I watched it and it wasn't that great, if I remember.
Oh, Death Wish. I like Death Wish. I like the remake for that one.
Was
Let's
that
see,
was that what's his face? Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got Hostel, he's got Grindhouse, he's got Knock Knock, Green Inferno, Cabin Fever, Clock in the Walls, Hostel 2, Death Wish, and then a bunch of random small stuff.
Okay.
Oh, he's doing Borderlands still. I wonder when that's coming out.
All right, so I guess he is more hit than miss.
I think it's his
directing-wise.
it's his producing.
Yeah.
He puts his name on a lot of stuff that isn't good, and that's probably what's like clouding our judgment.
Right. All right. Well, we'll keep it that. I mean, that's the one we're 100% going to be reviewing, I know. So we'll keep you guys up to date on that. All right. Just a couple more stories to get through here. I put this one on because when Steve and Todd came to Salem for our event with Omri Katz last October, I took them to the Ouija Museum, the Witchboard Museum, and we talked with the guy who owns it for quite a long time, including his massive Witchboard movie, like memorabilia he had. You know, he was really excited about it. It prompted Todd and Steve to both go watch it. Well, we're getting a Witchboard remake now, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be coming from the Blob, Dream Warriors and Blob director Chuck Russell is going to be. Actually, was he the original director of this? Do you guys know offhand?
Not offhand.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, he did originally direct this, and now he is going to be apparently in some form. It doesn't say whether he's actually directing it or not, but it sounds like he's definitely coming on board to maybe produce it or whatnot. But Jamie Campbell Bower is actually going to be starring in this, who you guys might know best from Vecna of Stranger Things fame. So yeah, you know, I mean, what do you guys think? Are we due for like a Witchboard remake? Are you guys excited about this?
Sure. And Kevin Tenney was the director of the original too.
That's right. Okay.
I'm wholly excited or solely excited just for that dude that ran that museum to watch this, because he was super fan in it. Really cool, lots of good energy about the film. So I'm excited on behalf of him.
Yeah, it's weird. Like if you ever go to Salem, if the museum's open and he's not there, it's probably kind of a experience. It's just boards on the wall.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
But if he's there, you'll walk out and you'll be like, "Holy fuck, that was amazing! That was so
holy
interesting."
Shit, this predicted Hitler's death. What?
yeah, it's like it's really crazy. So I mean, I think this is a movie that definitely could use a remake. You know, I watched it right after we did that, and it's okay. You know, it's not great, to be honest, but I'm excited about this. I mean, we have Ouija, which is kind of the same thing, I guess, but curious to see what direction they take with this one.
Alrighty. And maybe one that might be a fun double feature. We could do like the original remake, kind of compare and contrast when it does come out. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just a couple more stories. Remember this name though. Mr. Entity. How does it make you feel? Well, it's going to make you feel something pretty soon, because Blumhouse, this is going to be Blumhouse's new Conjuring, according to reports, as they have purchased the highly sought after rights of the life story of mother and daughter Deborah and Jessica Moffat, who were supposedly terrorized alongside other members of their family for more than 6 years by a supernatural presence they called Mr. Entity. The Blumhouse also acquired the rights to Jessica's forthcoming book manuscript, Mr. Entity, The Moffat Family Haunting. In addition to the unscripted series that they also are going to be coming out with, Blumhouse has signed on to exclusive TV rights and movie rights. This is going to be huge, folks. This is going to be massive. So keep that in mind. The name Mr. Entity. I don't know a lot about the story. Definitely going to have to do a deep dive on it, but it's going to be the next big one, folks. So keep your eyes out. What do you guys think? Any thoughts? I know Steve, being the big ghost guy he is, I'm sure he's got some thoughts.
It's a terrible title.
I'm excited though. If it's going to be like The Conjuring, that's a high bar. So I don't know if they want to put that out there, but I'm always excited to see more ghost stuff. So I'm in.
Are they done with the Warrens then? Are they like packing it up?
No, there's a new
I
Conjuring
doubt
coming.
it.
There's what? Sorry.
There's a new Conjuring coming. So they just
they'll
signed Conjuring 4.
They'll milk that thing till it's dry, man. They'll, that meal. My brother actually. So we were at Easter dinner last night, and he was like, "Hey, I was reading like a thing about the 5 highest-grossing horror franchises of all time. Can you guess them?" And I was like, "Oh, Halloween. Halloween not in the top 5, shockingly enough. Conjuring number 1 though. Most, highest growth.
Wow.
That's brought in the most money. It was like $2.1 billion or something crazy like that.
That'd be on trivia tonight.
Yeah, it won't be.
Not anymore.
But, I can't remember what else was on there. Oh, Alien. The Alien was in the top 5. Saw, and I can't remember the other 2. But
we get Saw this year, right?
Yeah, new Saw's coming. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, just one more bit of news to get through here. Just kind of a little fun one for anyone that really cares about the MTV Movie Awards. I don't think many, especially people our age these days, but great representation this year at the MTV Movie Awards, as every single category has a horror nominated thing in its category. So horror reigning supreme at the MTV Movie Awards. Nope, Scream 6, Smile, Megan, Stranger Things, Wednesday, The Last of Us, and Yellow Jackets all receiving nominations. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll say a couple of kind of more of the fun ones. Best villain category, we have Jamie Campbell Bower for Stranger Things, Megan for Megan. I guess they don't want to give the actress credit, just Megan for Megan.
The girl that plays the doll.
Just the actual doll is just nominated.
That's so stupid.
Harry Styles for Don't Worry, Darling, if you count that as horror, and my personal favorite, the Bear from Cocaine Bear, nominated, ladies and gentlemen.
the computer generated graphic.
Yes.
Fuck you, Anthony sucks.
Yeah. Also, for the best fight category, Courtney Cox versus Ghostface in Scream 6. Also, Vecna versus Eleven for Stranger Things. Most frightened performance, Justin Long for Barbarian. I'm going to give it to him. I'd probably think he should probably win that one.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Also, Sosie Bacon for Smile. She gave a really good performance in that. Best kick-ass cast, Stranger Things getting there. Best song, Demi Lovato for Scream 6. Definite banger.
Not going to win
there. So,
Stranger Things is going to wipe the fucking floor of all these awards. I guarantee.
Sure.
Running Up the Hill is going to destroy that.
Is it even? I don't think it's not nominated.
Really? It has to be a new song.
No, but we already know who's probably going to win. Taylor Swift is nominated, if you're
Swiftie is it?
Yeah, the Swifties will be out in full force, especially if I'm pretty sure it's fan generated. So best duo, who we got? Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us, or Jenna Ortega and Thing for Wednesday. It's a tough one right there. Also, Tom Cruise.
A fucking hand. Really?
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Hey, it's MTV, Todd.
Do they? She jerk him off?
there is a really awkward scene where she's about to change and she actually goes to Thing and don't peek this time. So
what the fuck?
Yeah. It was like, really?
Can he see with his little hand? Does he make like an eyeball?
I mean, apparently it was enough for her to think it's a problem and need to put Thing in his place. So,
but I think best movie, horror has a really good chance of winning this year. I'm just gonna. This is the last thing I'll mention of the MTV Movie Awards. But best movie, our nominees are Avatar, The Way of Water, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Top Gun Maverick, and then our 3 horror movies that are nominated: Nope, Scream 6, and Smile. Do you think horror has a chance
I
in
think Top
the
Gun will take
categories.
it.
You think Top Gun gonna take it?
Yeah, Top
Yeah,
Gun's
they'll probably pay like Tom Cruise and then just fucking
He'll show up,
hand him
yeah.
the award or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna come in off a fucking motorcycle, out of a helicopter,
Right.
and
Over a
parachute
shark.
into the fucking parachute into the fucking stadium. So yeah,
I think if anybody, Scream 6 probably has the best chance in that
Probably.
category to horror wise. But we'll see. The MTV Movie Awards, for those that care, is going to be airing Sunday, May 7th at 8 p.m. So good luck to all the horror categories. And that's it for horror news.
all right. So how about we get a little cup of Joe before we move on to our next little segment here? So a little word from Deadly Grounds Coffee.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds Coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds Coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
All right, let's get into what watched, or as we're going to title it now, what Steve watched, because Joe and I are bums and we didn't watch a single thing. So, Steve.
Neither of you watched anything?
No,
God damn.
I watched Mac and Me.
Now I feel like a loser. All right, so yeah, I got my regular 2 films. The first one is the conclusion of my month-long Psycho series review. So of course that means I am going to talk about Psycho 4: The Beginning, which I saw over on VOD. This one picks up 4 years after the events of Psycho 3. Slight spoilers for that because I can't talk about it without kind of giving away a little bit of the ending of Psycho 3. But Norman is out once again. He escaped with the help of a nurse from the institution that he was at. And he is now living with her, and they are in love. And they're like a regular couple. Meanwhile, there's a radio show who happened to have a segment about matricide, which is people killing their mothers. So Norman decides to call into the radio station and start explaining the story of what happened with his own mother, of course, recreating the accounts of the original Psycho. And it is shown through flashbacks where Henry Thomas plays a young Norman Bates. And it's basically, the movie is about him talking to the radio station and then going to flashbacks showing the events of what led up to him killing his mother in the way that he did and why he dresses as his mother and stuff like that. So this movie serves as both a sequel and a prequel to the Psycho series, of course, but I feel that it doesn't do either of them well. It's like they should have either made it a full-blown sequel or a full-blown prequel, because they too try to make stories on both ends, and I feel it doesn't really work. And I gotta say that, having now seen 3 Psycho films before this, we know kind of what happened between Norman and his mother, but seeing it happen, it's a little gross, because obviously there's some sexual things involved between him and his mother and stuff like that, so it gets kind of creepy. I will say that the acting is really good. Anthony Perkins still nails it as Norman Bates. He's just so fucking good in that role. But I gotta say, Henry Thomas does a really great job of playing Norman Bates as well. He captures that kind of creepy, silent character that that Anthony Perkins did so well in the other film. So I don't think it was like the worst film ever. It's definitely the weakest of the series. There's no doubt about that. But I gotta say, having now finished this 4-part series, it's actually a super good series. One that I would say is highly underrated, and people should check it out because I don't think a ton of people have seen past the first Psycho, and I would highly recommend it. So this particular film, I gave a 2 stars out of 5, but I'd say the series is like maybe a 3.5. So highly recommend that. And my other one is a 2023 film that I watched over on Shudder, and it's called Spoonful of Sugar. So this one I think Joe had talked about maybe a few weeks ago. So this one is about a girl who takes care of a little boy. She's hired to take care of this boy because he has a ton of allergies, And he also has some kind of issue that we're not too sure about, at least at first. And his parents want to make sure that the boy is safe and, things don't happen. And with the allergies, it makes it even more complicated. Meanwhile, the girl is addicted to LSD, and she absolutely trips balls throughout the majority of the film. And she decides that it would be a good idea to give the boy LSD as well to help him with kind of his issues. And a pretty fucking crazy story comes out of that. It's there's a thing between her and his parents, and there's a weird relationship between the mom and the son and the mom and the girl, and it just takes you on a fucking ride. It's a weird movie for sure, but I was never bored. I don't think it's like great. I doubt you'd see it in my top 10 or anything like that, but I think it's one worth watching. And I will say that, and I don't have her name right now, but the main girl is actually pretty good in her role and is currently my leader for my best performance of the year. Now, of course, it's still early in the year. I don't think we've seen, the heavy hitters of the year yet, but I enjoyed the role and I enjoyed the film. And I think I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. So that's Spoonful of Sugar. You can watch on Shudder.
I too gave it 3 out of 5, and I would recommend it to most people. I think it's an interesting one.
It's weird,
that's
man.
for sure.
But yeah,
it
it's
is weird.
But it's worth watching at least once, I'd say.
Right. Well, I didn't watch anything this week, but Todd, you watched Mac and Me, huh? How was that?
Did. Mac and Me was a punishment for the Let's XP Geek Game podcast.
Oh, okay.
And first time watch, hilarious. Actually, really like it.
Isn't that the one where it's the one where isn't the kid? He's like in the wheelchair, and like he flies off like or whatever. There's like a really funny GIF about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because Paul Rudd always brings it to like talk shows instead of showing like the clips from Avengers. He shows that.
That's right. Yeah,
it's a really
hilarious.
funny movie.
Nice. All right. Well, I do have my punishment movie though for Steve and Todd this week. Very excited for this. Of course, I reign supreme in trivia. Thank you very much. Hold the applause, please. No, hold it. Come on, guys. Hold the applause. I can hear you all out there.
I like it. Look at this showmanship. For the record, as your current reigning champion, 3-time king of trivia, I've never been this brash with my gloating. Although, yes, I have.
I was going to say, yeah, you absolutely have.
Continue. I give you permission to continue, Joe. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, yeah, so I found a movie, made sure that both Steve and Todd could both watch it, and you can all watch it along with them. If you'd like to join in on the punishment, you can check it out over on Tubi. And the movie is called AVH, Alien versus Hunter. Right now, currently at a beautiful 1.2 on Letterboxd. Let me read the quick plot synopsis here. A journalist named Lee Kussler is out jogging when a flying object passes behind him and crashes. Sheriff Joel Armstrong picks him up and they go to check it out. They find an abandoned caravan close to where the object crashed. As they discover the object and realize it is a spaceship, an alien emerges. The alien, they're basically giving this whole movie away. The alien then chases them, after which Lee flees to the car. However, Armstrong makes a stand, trips, falls, and is killed by the alien that then leaves. A terrified Timmy finds Lee, and they call the local authorities, but their car is destroyed by the alien. This just gave the entire plot of the movie, apparently, in the Letterboxd review. So there you go, folks.
Not only does he make us watch a bad movie, but he fucking spoils the whole thing before.
That's right.
That's a dick move, man.
And it stars William Catt of Carrie fame and House fame. So it actually has a pretty big actor in it for the times. Directed by Scott Harper, who has made such other great films as Super Croc and You're Soaking in It. So there you go. Can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Interesting. I wonder what You're Soaking in It is.
You're Soaking in It. It's another fucking super long plot synopsis that probably gives away the entire movie. Super Croc actually gives like a short plot synopsis, so I guess I was hoping it was like a running joke where he just spoils the entire movie and all his plot synopsis, but apparently not. I will say AVH is actually the lowest rated of the 3 movies. So yeah, enjoy.
Cool.
Super Croc
Thank you.
sitting at 1.8 currently.
Thank you. All right, quarter number 2 stands right now. There was some points shifting. Honestly, I got confused with it. So it's Todd 4, Steve 3, Joe 3 for quarter number 2. And we will hold the overall ranking until later down the line. So quarter number 2, game number 2. Let's go.
Alrighty. I'll start us off.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to start with, quite simply, what is the name of the internet show of tonight's movie we watched, Gonjiam?
I got it. The Horror Times Terror Squad.
That is correct.
Thank you, Todd's notes.
Todd has the notes. It's cheating,
Hey.
basically.
Is that cheating?
No.
It's
Take
cheating
a
if you're looking at
blank
notes.
Well, I know, but notes from the fucking movie we're recording.
That's why I never ask questions about the movie anymore.
You know, Steve and I both take notes. Come on.
I think it should be null and void.
Whatever.
Looking at the notes.
All right, I'll go. It's literally 1, 2. I had 3 notes on there. Because the name is so ridiculously long. I wonder if that's a Korean translation issue and not like.
It could very well be, though. Yeah.
All right. I decided not to change my question, so whatever. According to my foolproof research through IMDb, it is the highest grossing Korean film in the US/Canada.
Interesting.
Train to Busan?
Yeah, it's
Train to
good guess.
Busan is on the board, but incorrect.
By
a very slim margin, I will add.
Interesting.
So that was number 2?
That was number 2, yeah.
Can I get one more guess after?
Sure. After Joe goes or passes.
Yep.
Yeah, I the sadness.
No.
I'm gonna guess, but I don't remember if this was Korean or not, so I apologize. Parasite?
No.
Oh.
Parasite is
I think it is Korean, but I don't think it's categorized horror. I got one more guess.
Okay, go.
I don't know if it's Korean either, so I apologize if it's not. Audition?
Audition is Japanese, I believe.
Japanese, okay.
Yeah. But the highest grossing film in the US, Canada is The Host, if you guys remember.
Oh.
It grossed 2.2 million. Train to Busan grossed 2.1 million. So it was very close.
Right.
I thought it would have been Train to Busan as well, because that movie's fucking banger.
Yeah, people should watch that.
Yeah.
All right, my turn then. So all of my trivia this week are 3 films that I remember vividly discussing with Michelle. So I am doing all my trivia questions in her honor this week. First one, 4 clues. Ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Airport, stadium, city, and highway.
Army of the Dead.
Wrong. I don't know what airport had Army of the Dead, but airport,
I don't.
Stadium, city, and highway.
I have a guess if Todd doesn't.
Train to Busan.
Wrong. Joe?
I think I might have it.
Sick.
Warm Bodies.
That's correct. So the 4 locations of Warm Bodies.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Back to me?
Back to you.
All right. Well, I don't have my thing pulled up, so one second.
Oh.
All right.
Amateur.
All right. Match the family to the movie.
Okay.
So we have the Fuller family, which is comprised of Jacob, Kate, and Scott.
Is it Terrifier 2?
Incorrect.
Is it Silver Bullet?
Incorrect. Let me say their full names. Maybe we'll. All right. So we have Jacob Fuller, Scott Fuller, and Kate Fuller.
Oh, is it Scream 6?
Incorrect.
Is it I don't think it is, but is it Knock at the Cabin? No.
Incorrect.
Stupid fuck.
The correct answer is the Fuller family from the movie From Dusk Till Dawn.
Nice.
Jacob, played by Harvey Keitel. Kate, played by Juliette Lewis. And
that makes me a
Scott,
truck driver.
played by Ernest Lee.
What does he tell him to say? Like, you're a motherfucking
mean motherfucking servant of God.
It's so good. All right. Letterbox reviews. Clue number 1. worst opening, worst reveal, worst blank sequel. Clue number 2. A slasher that is afraid to kill its supporting characters is a bad slasher.
Scream 6.
Scream.
Correct, Joe.
Nice.
All right.
I don't think it has the worst opening.
I don't agree either.
Yeah, I was gonna say
had to switch it up a little bit.
All right. My favorite category as of late. Name the movie
Titties.
based off the parent guide. Sex and nudity.
Yes, please.
A man goes to poop and his butt is briefly shown.
I love it. Oh, Greasy Strangler.
Correct.
Yep.
Nice.
So I'll read the other ones just really quick. Violence and gore. A man saws off another man's head and then tries to shoot it in a basketball hoop. Profanity and the other one were kind of boring. And finally, frightening intense scenes. More frightening things include the ugly and horrible merkin the main babe is wearing and a few of the penis shots.
That's funny. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, the fucking hot dog guy, man.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
I can lose my license. It stuck out to me, apparently.
Apparently. Of all the pooping scenes in film history, you like nailed right away.
First came to mind was Spider in Friday the 13th 5. I'm like, wait, he didn't show his butt.
All
So,
right.
yeah. Oh yeah, Spider. Yeah, is that the enchilada?
Yeah. Oh wait.
Yeah.
His name is Spider in Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
forget
same
it.
guy.
in part
Miguel
5.
Nunez. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Back to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last one. Match. 3 letterbox reviews. Guess the movie. Why should I go to therapy when I can simply see this character skateboard? Rather than knock this movie and its weak kills too much, I'll just leave it at this one just never really worked for me. It's my least favorite of this entire franchise. And number 3. Bon appetit, bitch.
Wow.
Wow.
On a blank.
I'm gonna go with Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4.
Incorrect.
Oh, you're thinking the pizza diner scene, huh?
Yeah.
Skateboarding. That one's like should be obvious, right?
You think
Not,
I
not
can't
a lot of
think of
skateboarding
anything.
and horror.
No.
Back to the Future. Part 1.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Any other guesses?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5.
You got it. You nailed
Yes!
it.
Process of elimination. Right?
Yeah.
Who skateboards in that fucking movie?
Freddy.
He does?
Yeah, Freddy does skateboard in part 5.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh boy.
And then the Bon Appetit bitch is when he feeds the girl to like her death, essentially.
Cool. All right. Letterbox reviews. Clue number 1. The Rock is still probably talking about how Black Adam was actually a success. Clue number 2. And these are just reviews. No political stance or anything like that. Clue number 2. A homophobic arc that J.K. Rowling always wanted. Clue number 3. Blank ends up being a tension-filled, one-location apocalyptic thriller.
Doom?
Incorrect.
The Rock in a horror movie?
It's a clue.
No, it's a clue. It doesn't mean
The Rock
anything.
is still probably talking about how Black Adam was actually a success. So think about The Rock's connection to other people.
Okay.
And then think about this connection to J.K. Rowling, a homophobic arc that J.K. Rowling always wanted. Think about her connection to somebody.
It's Knock at the Cabin.
Correct. Yep. Because
Batista,
and then the redhead guy, homophobic character, and then
Yep.
Yeah,
what's his name,
Thank
Wes or something?
I did not make that connection at all. All right. My final one and the final one this week is also guess the movie based off the letterbox reviews.
Okay.
Cool concept. Great performances all around, but kind of lost steam for me midway through, and the motivations were weak.
Okay.
Number 2. The movie really pulls you in right away and takes you along the journey like you're sitting there right with them.
Sounds like one of my reviews.
Yeah, and the other one was Todd's. So,
Oh shoot, really?
And this one is mine. So
Repeat mine.
I can't even think of the damn movie though.
I'll do mine and then I'll repeat them
Okay.
if you haven't. Okay. This movie is a superbly acted, well-paced, and surprisingly humorous experience that is pretty unique, which I really enjoy. However, for such a stickler in regards to attention to detail, this movie is a bit of a mess. I think the biggest issue is that it reveals its cards too early.
Good review, Steve.
And that's just like part of my review, but it goes into spoiler, like into easy territory after that.
All right, let's repeat these, please.
Yeah, no problem. So Todd's review, cool concept,
Yes.
great performances all around, but kind of lost steam for me midway through, and the motivations were weak.
Oh man, I say that so often. It's not even funny.
Joe, the movie really pulls you in right away, takes you along the journey like you're sitting there right with them.
Dang.
I want to say
Okay,
Night at the
nothing.
Cab or Knock at the Cabin again.
Wrong.
Fuck.
That's gonna. I don't know.
Steam midway through, huh? What was I talking about?
You guys give up?
Is it a movie? It's a movie reviewed this year.
I don't want to say it. I mean, we're fucking March.
Okay.
Like we're just 3 months in, you know.
I don't even think I still would guess, honestly.
You
Sad.
guys give up?
We're pathetic.
Yeah.
So the movie was a movie reviewed this year.
Oh,
It is The Menu.
The Menu.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I would agree with my assessment.
I do.
Agree. You gotta like your own review. Okay, so that concludes. Joe took today with 3, myself with 2, Steve with 1. Quarter number 2 is tied at 6 apiece with Joe and myself, and Steve at 4. All right, on to the movie. We got Gonjiam, Haunted Asylum, directed by Jung Boom Sheik. Experience the horror. The crew of a horror web series travels to an abandoned asylum for a live broadcast, but they encounter much more than expected as they move deeper inside the nightmarish old building. So our setup is basically there's this, just like you can go on YouTube right now and find people that investigate like abandoned haunts, or they go to a haunted place and they set up YouTube cameras and they start doing seances and things like that. We meet this group from Korea that does the same thing. They go to various haunts around the world, around the country, and they live stream it, and they're all about getting the views, right? So now we meet this crew, and they're talking about this next one's going to be 1 million views. We're going to get those views, and we're going to make X amount of dollars, right? So they decide to go to this haunted asylum in Korea, which is supposedly one of the haunted centers in the entire world, let alone Korea. And they, get the crew together. They party for a little bit. They talk about like the plan, things like that. And then they travel to location, and then they start investigating the asylum. I guess we'll just leave it at that, because that's like, if you get into anything else, it's gonna be pretty spoiler. Say that word for me.
Spoilery.
Better serve. There you go.
Spoilery. Yeah.
Yep. So in honor of Michelle, like we talked about earlier, we decided to watch this film. It's the last one she recommended, and yeah. For me, mostly, I thought this was a serviceable found footage / horror, like investigative film. Did it do anything like groundbreaking? Not in my opinion, but I still think it was a good film to throw on and have some good spooky scares in it.
Yeah, I had no real expectations going into this one, so I just kind of went in completely blind with it. I'm a sucker for found footage movies, so like I was already kind of pulled in from the start. And yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's fine. Like I don't, like Todd said, I don't think it's anything groundbreaking or brings really anything new to that sort of subgenre. But I think it's still a pretty solid watch. Like I think if you're looking for something to watch like late at night that could potentially scare you, I think this is a pretty solid one. I think it does, when it does things well, it does it really well. And when it doesn't do things well, it's kind of goofy. But overall, I ended up digging this one quite a bit. And I know we'll get into it deeper, but yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'm really into the found footage stuff because I can kind of picture myself as it being real. I can kind of make my imagination think, okay, I'm watching like a YouTube video, which is probably fake anyway, but it just feels like a little more real than like a regular narrative film. And I did it the way that I think I do for most of these movies, where I watch it on my laptop at like 11 p.m. in the dark, with my headphones on. So I was really trying to immerse myself into the experience, and I think that helped the movie quite a bit. Now, I'm not saying you have to watch it that way. I think you can get a lot out of it regardless, but that just amplifies the experience a little bit. And yeah, I'm basically like you guys said, there are some really effective scenes in here, some good scares. I think they do the setup really well. the way that they kind of explain the story without just doing an info dump, which a lot of these movies do. They do it through like conversations between the characters as they're having fun at dinner and stuff like that. So I did like how they kind of presented the events leading to the story, but I did have some issues as well, especially regarding the live stream portion of it. Deadstream was on my top 10. I think it was a couple of yours as well. And they did that part really well, where they were engaging with the people, which made it feel like people were actually watching the stream. Whereas I never really got that sense in this one, even though they kept talking about the numbers that they were doing. I never had a feeling that people are actually watching this thing. It just, they didn't put enough focus on it. They didn't interact with them. It was kind of a weird thing where it felt disconnected, so it didn't register with me. And I think if they had done that, it would have been a better movie. But the scares were mostly effective, but sometimes goofy, like Joe said. And I'll talk about some specific scenes that some of them fucking great. Some of them I'm like, ugh, that kind of takes me a little bit out of it. So curious what you guys think about like kind of the more specifics of this film.
Well, I think we can all agree about the goofy thing, when I honestly, like, the tension that was built was super effective, and then the possessed girl slash ghost thing that reveals itself and starts doing like a fucking, I don't even, like a mumble, like I
Yeah.
can't I don't know, I don't even want to try to mimic it, but she looks at the camera from like a couple inches away and starts doing a mumbling thing. I just fucking laughed, like I thought it was so silly. What'd you guys think? I did, like, it sucked because I was like, oh shit, oh fuck, something, and then she comes out of nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was my least favorite part of the entire movie. I thought they were building it up all so well. And they do bring it back. I will say that. Like, I think after that, they had some really great effective stuff, but that was easily the worst reveal. They could have did so much better than that, but like instead they just put some some contacts in there to kind of black out her eyes, and she spoke gibberish. And to me, it came off more goofy than scary, so it did take me out of it. I think had they done what they did towards the end of the movie, that reveal would have been way better and scarier. But yeah, that was easily the weakest scare and the weakest part of the movie for me.
Yeah, same thing for me. I just didn't really like that. It kind of took me out of it. But I do have a question for you guys. Do you think having that the crew were faking these helped the film or hurt the film? Because for me personally, I don't think that storyline was needed. And it kind of took away from the scares a little bit, because as things were happening, all I could think was, okay, is that something they faked, or is that something actually from the hospital? And the main guy who like runs the group, he's in a tent like further away, and he's kind of watching the screens and everything like that, and shit starts happening to him. And I don't know, like that character just there's so much potential with that character with the stuff that was happening away from the hospital, but I feel like they kind of dropped the ball because he was so determined to like get the his million followers or million streams that it kind of took away from the experience for me a bit.
I'm kind of torn on it, honestly. Like, I think it's a cool aspect of them faking it, but I think that I agree. The dude in the tent, Captain, who they refer to as Captain the whole time, I thought it would have been really cool if his character just went fucking evil, and like his point was to sacrifice his crew to the demon or whatever the fuck it was. I think that would have been a cool angle. Instead, we get him basically saying, like, one time he says, "You don't do it, I'll kill you." Like, but there's no oomph behind it or anything. And then he goes in the asylum himself at one point. But like, these minor details that bother me about it is like, that's like an immense power drain. He's got so much computer equipment and lighting out in the tent. and like they're broadcasting, and like that's the fucking most nerve-wracking thing is like he's trying to get these million views, but he's out in the fucking middle of nowhere and expects like perfect internet. So I know I'm looking way too much into it, but I kept thinking about that. I'm like, wait, how's he? The logistics of that alone, like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that personally, the whole them kind of doing the fake scares, it didn't really bother me. I mean, it's been done before. I've seen it in movies as far back as and probably even further back. But one of the movies that really jumps out in my head is Halloween Resurrection when they were doing like the fake stuff in that one. So it kind of reminded me of that. I know it didn't bother me one way or the other. Honestly, I thought it was kind of like an interesting sort of plot point. I actually think they dropped the ball. I agree with Todd. I think that character in the tent, the captain character, I thought for sure he was going to get possessed by like a demon, and then he went in and started killing them, which I thought would have been a really cool idea and would have made like a hell of a lot of sense. And kind of would have it sort of would have left it open ended on whether what was happening is like supernatural or like, you know, maybe like the dude snapped or something, where it kind of keeps like people like on the stream like, oh, the guy just snapped and went crazy, and other people like, oh, it was supernatural. It would have left like a really cool, interesting idea there. So I think that was kind of a missed opportunity. I wish they kind of did do that. I do agree. I wish they stayed in the tent, had more supernatural stuff going on in the tent. Cause like when the fire comes on in the tent at one point, I thought that was like a cool little interesting thing. This movie also reminded me a lot of Fear. Like, I don't know if anyone watched the MTV show Fear,
Yeah,
but like
man.
it was like exactly like Fear. It was, to me, it was like a combo for American viewers. Obviously, it was like a combo of Fear meets Grave Encounters, which I don't know if you guys have seen Grave Encounters, which is another really good found footage horror movie if you've never seen that one. But it like, I feel like it was kind of like a tie of both those movies together. So, or that TV show and that movie together. So I was digging that.
So what were the effective scenes for you guys? I know for me, one that really stood out is the coffin scene. So they go into a room and there are some coffins that are kind of propped up against the wall, and there's a hole in the coffin, and then they're kind of doing a whole thing where you put your arm in the coffin, and someone is pulling at it. Now, of course, this is probably the only scene that I thought the fake or not thing was kind of played out, because you didn't know if the guy was just faking it because he's part of the crew or it's really something happening to the guy. So that whole scene was like spooky to me. Are there scenes that stand out for you guys?
Yeah, I like that scene, but I felt like that one's been done. That's like the oldest trick in the book as you're a kid, every time there's like a hole in the ground or like something weird, you put your arm in, you fake getting pulled in, So I thought that was a little bit overdone. No, the most effective scene for me was when the dude is like standing, 20 feet away or for whatever, and she has a flashlight. Although it was also really annoying because no one uses a fucking flashlight like that. Like, keep your flashlight on the threat. Don't like fucking slowly pan. It's not. Don't treat the flashlight like it's a fucking camera. You know what I mean? Treat it like it's a flashlight. But I still thought that was really cool how the figure or whatever would like shuffle a little bit, get closer and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100% agree with Todd. I think that's the best part of the entire movie, that he looked like a naked sort of man, like, but like he had like, it kind of looked like he was kind of cut down the middle or something. It was just like really creepy, really effective. Yeah, that was great. Like I was like glued to the screen. I got to agree though. I think you have to watch this at night. Like I watched it during the daytime and it was like fine and effective, but I think watching this at night really would add to the kind of creepiness of it all. I was telling that to Sam because she was like, oh, was it scary? I was like, I think you'd be pretty scared by this. So yeah, I would definitely recommend a nighttime watch on this one. I think it definitely adds.
Yeah. A thing I liked about it is, so the story is about this director who took care of, this hospital and the patients, and she like ping pong and stuff like that. And there's a scene where they find this like creepy doll. And at first I thought maybe it was a plant, because they talked about that before. But then you see that the creepy doll was on a patient who's probably the creepiest looking patient in that in an old picture they found. Like, he had like white eyes and he was like all distorted.
His
and
mouth
stuff
was
like
open.
That. Yeah,
kind of like a silent scream. Yeah, it was really cool.
Right. So everything with the doll I thought was really cool. I was a little bit disappointed with the ping pong thing though, because they set that up really early in the film, saying that if you hear the ping pong ball coming, that means the ghost
Just
is
pick
coming.
pick up a paddle and play. Yeah, they should have.
Yeah, but they used it too late, I think, in the game, because by that point there had been so many things that happened. The ping pong ball just felt like kind of an afterthought, and they even show the ping pong table being broken. So I thought that was a missed lead there. But I did like one of the other good scares to me is the final ghost. She's like kind of hovering. You can see her feet like up in the air, and her face is dead. And they do this a lot in Asian cinema, I find, when they do ghost films, where they have people hovering, but only like maybe a foot in the air. and they're usually facing the other way and then slowly turn. They do the exact same scare in The Eye. I don't know if you guys ever seen that one, where a girl's in an elevator and there's like an old like man, an old dead man that's floating kind of in the corner of the elevator with her. So it's a very like kind of effective scare to me.
I had a question.
They do it in VHS too, I think, like the cult one.
I mean, they had it in Hereditary too, right? She's swimming around.
You get your back turn. It's spooky.
It's what? I don't like it.
What
are you doing?
Project?
What are you hiding? You hiding a boner? What do you got? No, I had a question though. Why was, I don't remember their names, but one of the male characters, why was he so mean to the other female character? At one point he's like, "I'll fucking choke you out." I'm like, what's wrong with this fucking guy?
I just chalked it up to she was trying to ruin their plan of getting the million viewers, right? She wanted to leave, and they was just, to him, it's like it's money.
She started that like in the casting process too. He was being a little dick to her. Yeah. It got progressively worse. So I'm like, geez, I thought he was going to be like the guy that turned and had ulterior motives.
Because they like really like kind of make him like separate from the group somehow. Like he even comes there late and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I thought that was strange. And then something bothers me too about any movie where it's about like ghost hunters, like this is their thing, they want to see ghosts. I hate, even in like the quote unquote documentaries on like Travel Channel or whatever, is like when they're ghost hunting, like this is their goal, and then they fucking get terrified and run out. Like what? Like the Charlotte chick was like, I'm top 3 of the 6 haunted places, this is the new one I'm gonna be, and then a bell fucking jingles and she runs out of the room. I'm like, what are we doing? Like I hate that part.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, are you guys into like ghost hunting shit? Like I never really got into the whole ghost hunters and all those other, and Zach Baggins and stuff like that. There was like one show I really got into with a dude who was like in, God, I think it was, I can't remember the name of it, but I know he got super into drugs, unfortunately, and became a drug addict. But he had a show, and he was really, really good. I don't know if anyone, I'm sure someone out there knows.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody, I watched Fear like a motherfucker when I was.
Fear was great. Fear was awesome.
I wonder if it holds up.
Curious. Yeah, I don't know if it would. Probably not.
No, Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, like, yeah, I've watched them. But like it's highly suspicious, man. Like when something happens so often to just you, it's like, really. But it's always that thing I just talked about too, where like, oh fuck, like this, like we're getting EVP readings and blah 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 blah, and then they get scared and walk out of the room. I'm like, well, aren't you there to catch the thing on fucking tape? Like, turn around. I don't buy into it personally. I believe in ghosts, but I don't believe in that.
Right.
Yeah. So the reason I like most of those shows, I don't like the Zach Baggins one, I don't like some of the more commercialized ones, is because it does give you like an insight to history. And I really love watching stuff about history. And they do actually go to these places, right? So I used to watch one called Destination Truth, I think. And they used to go to all these like kind of famous, scary places. They went to the pyramids, they went to like, famous asylums, and
that's neat.
And it's just like, even though I know they're doing the show, and before every commercial there's what was that, and then they go to commercial, and then it was like, oh, that was just a fucking brick,
it's just a sound guy tripped.
And you get to know the formula, and you're kind of like not into it anymore, but just the fact that you get to see these places in the historical context, and they give the history of these places, I always enjoyed that. I always preferred my ghost stuff to be more like the old documentaries from the 80s and stuff, because even though a lot of them are probably fake in some way, I feel there wasn't as much motivation to fake stuff as there is now with YouTube views and stuff like that. So I just, like, recently we're talking about it on our Discord about Sightings, the ghost story, which I sent a link for. If anyone ever wants it, just hit me up. I'll send you a link for it. And that was scary to me because I didn't feel like there was an agenda, to kind of get clicks. So I like stuff like that. But yeah, I'd love to do it like my own, just to go to scary places and see stuff. I think it'd be dope.
I agree. That'd be super cool. I did that a couple times when I was younger. I went to a graveyard with like a EVP recorder and stuff, like, or voice recorder, and left it on Tombstone, asked some questions, walked away. Of course, you get like a ton of orb pictures when you go anywhere, and
Mhm.
Like I've shown you my freaking Ring camera orb pictures in like the garage. It's like, is it a ghost? Probably not. Is it a weird ass fucking piece of dust? I don't know. But yeah, it's always fun to speculate.
Yeah. One nitpick I guess I have about this movie, and it might not even be a nitpick, and just more I'm not used to like new technology, but it did, like, the cameras and everything just seemed too clean to me, I guess. Like, it just seemed all very clear for someone like sort of broadcasting live with that type of technology.
In the
Now,
middle of a
I mean,
forest.
technology's also improved a lot. This isn't like Blair Witch Project days or anything like that. So maybe I'm just not
See,
privy to it.
it's funny. I thought the opposite because the footage is clear. That made more sense to me because it is
Okay.
2018 and the
Yeah.
footage will be clear. When you see like pictures now where I saw Bigfoot and it's a blurry ass fucking like Polaroid type picture, you're like, fuck off! Like it's 2023. You're telling me you can't take a goddamn like regular ass picture?
I gotta defend that though, Steve. I know what you're saying, but have you ever been like on a hike, and we were just hiking this weekend, where you hear something and you pull out your phone and like you just can't get to it. You know what I mean? Like I got to err on the side of like people are just stupid like myself and can't get their phone out in time.
Yeah, but if you have surveillance footage like they do, it's going to be
true.
clear, right?
Right.
It's not, yeah.
But that goes back to my technology point. Like, how many cameras are they streaming over the internet? And he's got like a 4G connection on his phone, probably. Like he's not. He's using. I don't know. I'm thinking way too much in the internet usage of this fucking movie.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like, where are they getting the internet from? Like, they're in the middle of nowhere.
It's not. It's actually not really in the middle of nowhere though. So if you look at the actual thing, I mean, it's not smack in the city, but
right, they're in the woods.
You can hear.
Where are
like,
they getting
cops
power? They run a generator.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Like, there are definitely explanations that they could do this. Like think about anything in Boston. You could have a place that's a little bit out of the beaten path. It's still in fucking Boston. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing with Korea. It's just, it's
a good point, because I think of the Danvers Mental Institution, which was like one of the most haunted places supposedly, which they turned into condos most recently. But so that is kind of in like the middle of kind of nowhere, quote unquote, but is actually like very accessible to the city and stuff. So
yeah, because they do hear cop sirens at one point, right, early on, because they think that they got busted for being there. So they're probably close to the city. So that didn't bother me at all.
They get free Wi-Fi though. Come on now, I want to get.
You can get hotspots nowadays, I suppose. When you're live streaming, all the technology people are like, you fucking morons. Like all the people.
Hold on, guys, we gotta connect to the fucking Asylum Wi-Fi network.
Right. Ghost all capitals is the password. Thank you.
Yeah. What else is there? I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It just to me, this movie was like, it started off really great. The middle was a little slow, and then the end was pretty cool, minus the kind of goofy ghost that they added in there with the whispering and the black eyes and stuff like that. But there was a lot of affecting scenes. I gotta say, like, I was really into it. It's not that long of a movie either. It's an hour and a half, and I was along for the ride. So I give it props for that.
Give you a rating. What you got?
All right, I'll go. So I would say I was at a 3.5 for the majority of this film, but it dips slightly near the end because of some of the goosey stuff. So I gave it a 3 out of 5, but that's still a pretty good rating for a movie like this. It's just, I was into it. I really enjoyed it. Now I wouldn't watch it again, but I was along for the ride. So 3 out of 5 is what I gave it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
All right. I totally agree with you, Steve. I think it's like a really solid one-time watch. I don't think it's something I would probably watch again. Maybe like in, a group setting or something to throw on or something, or to show someone to get really scared. But I think it's really effective. The scares are really effective. Definitely watch it at night if you are going to watch it. That would be my best recommendation for this one. But yeah, pretty effective. It's kind of, it's nothing new. It's something you've kind of seen before. But it's still effective as a pretty solid kind of found footage ghost movie. So I give it a 3 out of 5 as well.
Yeah, and I can't get over the internet and Wi-Fi usage in this film. So no, I'm just kidding. I mean, what you guys said. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing special really. The scares were they good? Yeah, but it didn't really add anything to the genre. I really like the setting, and I thought I love seeing foreign horror movies, you know. And if it's a decent one like this one is, I'm all for it. But what I can't get over though is that goofy fucking that girl. I just can't get over her. The choice of what they had her do. And if you haven't seen the film, you'll know exactly what we're talking about when you see it. So I'm at a 2.5 out of 5, which is, you know, halfway there.
Yeah, I was actually at a 2.5 as well, but I think when that scene happened, I'm like, oh. But then I think it did come back, and that's why I was able to jump it up to a 3. I think it gets better, and the scares get better after. You just have to get through that kind of goofy first reveal, which they kind of fucking fucked up. But
yeah, so I'm really happy that, you know, Michelle recommended it to us. You know, we get a lot of recommendations and stuff. This was part of a movie night recommendation. I don't remember what the theme of that particular night was, but it wasn't, you know, obviously voted in. But I'm glad that we got to watch it, because I don't know if otherwise I would have kind of found this, you know. It's so that's why we like people when they give us recommendations, because some of these movies they're well hidden. You know, it's just they don't go up on your social circles. They don't get recommended by Tubi because they think I'm a fucking asshole and just recommend the absolute worst stuff all the time. So I'm sad that we didn't, you know, see it while she was still around, but I'm happy we got to do this and do something in her honor, because I do miss her a lot and think about her, and it's a bummer, but yeah, thanks Michelle for the recommendation.
Yeah, thank you
yes,
as well. Honestly,
thank
like
you.
the name of this movie doesn't help its cause either. It's almost unsearchable.
Generic.
Yeah, unsearchable. It sounds like an Asylum picture film too.
But
yeah, thank you for recommending.
it was a great recommendation for a group movie night watch for sure. So
yeah, Korean found footage. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we probably ended up watching something way worse what we've done in the past. So yeah, this would have been a good watch with a bunch of people, because it has that kind of group like scare thing going on.
Oh, definitely. Like I could picture like this would be a great one, Todd, for like your daughter, like for like a slumber party night or something. Like I'm sure the younger kids don't like the subtitled shit though, but still, like it's a great one to kind of watch like on a sleepover night, because it's got some great little jump scares. All right, guys. So that is going to be it for this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed our review of Gonjiam Haunted Asylum. Once again, thank you so much, Michelle, for recommending it, and we'll miss you. Next week, we are going to be reviewing Stage Fright from 1987. That was Todd's pick. That has been pushed back about 100 times, but we are finally going to review it. You can, American viewers or listeners can watch it over on Shudder. Not sure about Canadians, same thing. All right, so you can check it out over on Shudder. Excited to see it. I've never seen it. I don't think Steve's ever seen it, so it'll be first time watches for the both of us. In the meantime, to keep up with the podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the Horror Squad Podcast. You can also email us anytime, the Horror Squad Podcast @gmail.com. And of course, the absolute best way to keep up is the Discord. Just send us a PM and a DM or a PM, whatever you prefer. And we will send you a link to it. But that is it. We hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, Michelle, we miss you, and rest in peace. And we'll see you guys next week for Stage Fright.
Bye.